here we go. We are getting into the grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Terran player representing himself. One of the best Terrans in the world right now. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. Here we go, and yeah, from here we have we're getting into this. Kira is going for a double gas opener to kick things off, so a little bit more aggressive out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, across the map, herO getting ready for his own gate expand as well. Going to be scouting across the map, trying to get a read on what his opponent is up to. And I haven't seen these two face off in quite some time, so I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I do love me some TVP. As Cure is going to lock herO into the main base with that depot. And herO, he's going to have to recall this probe to get it out. For now, is going to confirm the double gas opener, going to confirm the factory on the way as well. So herO does get some scanning information, but again, if he doesn't want to lose that probe, he's going to have to try to evacuate momentarily here before the Reaper does get on it. As herO is trying to be as annoying as possible in that mineral line. Reaper arrives, and yeah, herO will be losing that probe. Interesting. So a lot of Protoss players would recall their worker. It happens quite often in this matchup, but herO is not really too concerned with losing a probe. Is more concerned with just harassing and just being a little bit annoying. I appreciate it. And across the map, we do see herO going for a Stargate opener as well. Now, herO has been known to go Phoenix Colossus. Yes, that is true. But I'd like to believe that he wants to be a little bit more aggressive with this. I'm hoping for an Oracle first, but we'll see. We shall see. As Phoenix Colossus is still very meta in this matchup. We see it quite often. Two Reapers are looking to dive into the main. The Adept does get here in time. He's going to be able to zone them away. And Cure is in the dark. He has yet to see the tech of herO. Not quite aware if it's a Twilight Council opener or a Stargate. And it's the Phoenix. God damn it. Not like this. Here we go, the Reapers and the Hellions, they do dive into the main. Probe damage is being done already. 3 workers going down. And the Hellion avoids the Adepts, scouts the Phoenix, and is now aware of the Stargate opener. Back at home, immediately we have a Viking in production. Widow Mines as well. I imagine the Widow Mines are going to be used a little bit more defensively, and there we go. They are being set up here in the main base, looking to catch any stray Phoenixes. Oh no! Oof, speaking of, really good position for that first Widow Mine. The shot goes off. A big shot on that Phoenix. Of course, it takes 2 Widow Mine shots to kill a Phoenix, but a lot of hull damage was done. That will soften it up here for the rest of the game. So again, really good reaction, really good positioning here out of Cure. And a bold move. A lot of the Korean Terrans, I say Korean Terrans, I think even the European Terrans have adopted this as well. But when they're up against a Stargate Phoenix opener, they are going towards Ravens. Raven production is upon us. It is a risky thing to do because Phoenixes can always dive in and, you know, try to get on top of that Raven and focus it down. And if the Raven goes down prematurely, then that does kind of take a lot of the wind out of the sails of the push from the Terran. So it is a risky maneuver to go for this one up against Phoenixes, but a risk that Cure is willing to take. Interesting. Okay, so we have some add-on swaps coming in. It's going to be very bio heavy, but we don't have a tech lab on that factory. We're not going into tank production. Meanwhile, back at home, herO is being very safe. He's going into his third base. Sure, should be expanding momentarily, but he is producing a lot of immortals. Typically, we make 1 immortal for safety, but herO, he's going up to 2 before he throws down a Robotics Bay, before he gets into Colossus production. So a very safe opener here out of herO. Charge on the horizon as well, so we're getting into a faster Twilight Council. We're going for a delayed splash damage. Going to be relying a lot more on Zealots instead of Colossi. Love to see it. So yeah, Phoenix charge lots, and herO is already moving out across the map. Oh my god. Of course he's expanding behind this. What a really ambitious move by herO, but to be fair, what does herO have at home to defend? Does have a lot of bio, does have that Raven, but no bunker here at the natural. He's getting in position. Widowmine's also going to be burrowing. herO is in the midst of pushing out. Likewise, herO wants to collapse on this army as well. And here we go. He dives on this. Good pickup on 3 of those mines. One shot is going to go off. No, not a single Widowmine shot is going to connect. Stim is not done. What an anti-timing, by the way. Stim is still like 15 seconds away. And herO, he cleans up the army, pushes on into the natural. The Immortals survive. Stim finally finishes, but the Marines are dead. There's nothing for Stim to be used on. Or no one to use Stim, I should say. Reinforcements come out just in time. herO barely holds on. But he lost his entire bioforce. I love this. herO at the same time going for some Viking harass. Trying to alleviate some of the pressure as the Phoenixes are just camping the production. 3 workers are going to go down. Not too bad. And herO does back off for a moment. Unfortunately, herO missed his timing, right? He wanted to hit with Stim, combat shields, and +1. It's all done at this point, but he barely has an army. He's stuck at home. He is being contained. We can see a 3rd CC on the way. I appreciate this turret is going to be protecting at least the ramp and some of the production. But these Phoenixes are being so annoying. They find a way in. They delay the CC. You have Stalkers also harassing here at the natural. Picking away at whatever they can. Oof. Oh god! Not a bad mine shot goes off, but the Phoenixes survive. They even pick off a couple of these reinforcing units as well. Just abusing Cure, abusing his lack of mobility here. Behind this herO, he's just expanding, taking another base, getting further and further ahead. He's up almost 20 workers, or over 20 workers. And the big thing that herO has been lacking has been splash damage, but now we have Colossus in production. herO just picking Cure apart. Marauders are going down as well. Production being disrupted. Cure is banking a lot on this attack, but we have 2 Colossus waiting for him. Here we go. We're stimming on in. Can we focus him down? 1 Colossus will fall. A good start for Cure. Massive mine shots are going to go off, but the Phoenixes come back home, and there are so many. There's 9 Phoenixes. They take down all the Marines. There's no anti-air. And hero's going to clean this up, not without losing a couple of his high-tech units. The last Colossus falls. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade from Cure, but he's still behind. He's still stuck on 2 bases. He desperately needs a 3rd. And herO did sustain some hefty losses, but he can rebuild. And the Phoenix count was, for the most part, left undisturbed. Phoenix is just having their way with Cure. ramping the production, taking down even more mines. herO doesn't want to take this lying down. He's going for a drop across the map. Oof, and the third base will fall. Big mine connections. Gets 8 probes, but 8 probes is not worth the CC. As herO is still just perpetually behind, stuck on 2 bases. Even though he's been trading as best he can, there's only so much he can do with this economy. Drop gets cleaned up, and yeah, herO now is snowballing out of control. He's moving out. He has 2 Colossi. He still has all of his Phoenixes. And he's looking to break herO. Now, if herO has the most amazing mine shots, he can maybe defend. Especially if they connect with the Phoenixes. But the mines are being baited out. Army is steaming on forward here. We're trying to break through the line of defense, break through those Stalkers. And again, Stalkers are going down. We even dropped the mines on the army. herO taking an amazing fight. Despite everything working against him. Gets another Colossus. Can he get one more before the end? Up, up. Barely, he cannot. He still has reinforcements coming in. The army's actually really close in supply. herO, he's fighting so well. He took down the majority of the Phoenixes throughout all of that. Like, even though he's all in, here we go. We're pulling the boys. Mate, we have one final push here for herO. One last stand. Can he somehow get on top of these Colossi? Another Phoenix falls, but GG gets called. And herO will take game number 1. Oh, GG. Just having too much of a lead, too much of an advantage. Oh. And herO will take game 1. Oh, sorry, I apologize. I just realized, no. I just realized that I had the wrong name tag in game. God damn it. It always happens with Ragnarok. So I apologize. I will fix it for the next game. It is going to be fixed. So I do apologize. As you can imagine, Ragnarok was not off racing. Was not off racing as Protoss. Was herO. Was herO. So I do apologize. I miss SOS, my favorite. Oh, SOS, yeah. He's like kind of back, but not really. Smooch. But yeah, for those wondering, Ragnarok, he uses his IRL name in game, so I manually change the nameplates whenever we cast him. But I did forget to remove that. So my apologies. But it should be fixed for the rest of the series. Should be fixed. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2. This is why I need multiple monitors. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Terran player representing himself down in this series. But it's a best of 5, plenty of opportunities to come back. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. Is Ragnarok off racing? No, he's home gaming. Oh. You're an animal, Tater Tutor. You're an animal. SOS still playing? Kind of. He played for Abydos in World Team League. He did play in WTL. But only a couple of matches. He played like a couple of games this season. And Abydos has since disbanded, so SOS is currently teamless. I don't know if SOS intends on continuing to compete. I'm not too sure if that's the case. So yeah, he did come back to play a little bit, but he isn't really in form, if that makes sense. He's not playing StarCraft full-time. That's it. Part-time, puppy. Part-time. But here we go. We're getting into our next game. And once again, herO just being an annoyance with this probe. Is just trying to chip away at all these SCVs. But the Reaper should hunt it down and should shut down the scouting probes of herO. herO once again going for a double gas opener. And to wind it all back, again, that was a very unorthodox build from herO in Game 1 to go for a Phoenix opener, into charge, into 2 Immortals, and hit a very crisp timing. If you remember, herO, he hits, I want to say 20 seconds. I want to say he attacked 20 seconds before Stim finished. And by the time Stim did complete, herO had killed the entire army of Cure and busted into the natural. And at that time, herO, he didn't do like game-ending economical damage, but he did clean up the army, and he took the wind out of the sails of Cure. His build was lined up to hit with all of his upgrades, with +1, with Stim, with combat shields. And as a result, he missed that timing. He was stuck at home, and we saw that herO snowballed out of control from that point, just camping the production, eventually getting economic damage, eventually killing the third base as well, and delaying it for so long. So herO got a lot of momentum early on in Game 1, again with a very interesting attack, and yeah, very well thought out, obviously. So it was really cool to see. But now we're in game number 2, and this time herO is going for an Oracle opener, not a Phoenix. Okay. So is already mixing things up. Reapers, they do dive into the main base. They take a lot of hits, but they get confirmation of the Stargate and the Oracle first. They get a probe. Do get 1 worker in the main base. Hellion dives into the natural as well. Looks like a second probe is going to fall. And again, Cure does at least get some vital scouting information. He's now aware that he has to prepare in his mineral lines to defend against the first Oracle. And it's not just going to be 1, we have a second Oracle behind this. And this is kind of herO's... Oh my god, oh god! As he almost does fly into the path of the first Widow Mine. Does avoid it. Gets into the natural, focusing down all these Marines as well. The Oracle will fall, but with the death of these Marines, that means SCVs are going to be falling soon after. Adepts, they shade into the main. And how many more workers can we get? I think only 2. Landed Viking putting in a lot of work, and Cure's going to hold. Does hold for now, but another Oracle dives into the natural for SCVs. Oh, but great movement by Cure. He catches a second Oracle, and is it going to go down? Oh, does go down. Very good trades here out of Cure. Now, sure, he lost some mining time. He lost 4, now 5 SCVs. But looking at the units lost tab, well worth it. That was so much gas invested for herO. 2 Oracles for 5 SCVs? Nah, mate. Not worth it at all for herO. Now, Cure, he knows he has momentum. He's moving out across the map. Third base is being taken. But what does herO have at home to defend? He has 1 Phoenix. He has 2 slow lots. herO's in a bit of trouble. Okay, he's warping in some more Stalkers. He's going to be able to break the lock on one of those Cyclones. But I think Cure, he has too much. He barely has too much. He's busting on through, getting on top of the shield battery. But we do have an overcharge available as well. herO holds. Just barely. He holds on, preserves his third base, preserves his workers. Meanwhile, this is the third Oracle. Oof. And these Oracles just have not been worth it for herO. Every Oracle has fallen for barely any trades. And because of that, that's why Cure is just in his face, trying to break him here and now. Here we go, we're diving on this position. The tank is going to be lifted. The Stalkers are trying to break through, but no, the Liberator is just getting so much value. Again, Cure is trading well. Is this going to be enough to break the defenses of herO, though? We have reinforcements on the way. We have a second tank. herO is up against the wall. He does have an overcharge available. Tank within range of the shield battery. Backup shield batteries on the way. Vikings are being landed. Here we go. herO is going to try to collapse on this position. The tanks do zone him back. As they are leapfrogging forward. The tanks, the liberators. There is no stim with this. Bear that in mind. herO has to be careful not to bleed out too many of these Marines. As herO is getting ready for a surround. It's going to be close though. Like his Phoenixes, obviously they can pick up these tanks. But I don't know if he has enough on the ground. Like the Liberators really make things awkward. And now we have a 4th tank. Slow and steady, but he's getting on top of the base. herO's on a timer. He's got to go. He comes in from behind. He's collapsing on this army. Charge is done. He picks up every single tank. And herO will clean this up. The tanks are falling. Phoenixes, they went back just to top up their energy, just to top up their shields. But they clean up the Vikings, the Liberators, and the tanks. Oof. And this was so committed from Cure. He's now in a lot of trouble. His 3rd CC very late or non-existent behind this. Zealots, they bust into the natural. Boys are being pulled. Cure already behind economically. We have more Zealots showing up. This is snowballing out of control. GG gets called. And herO takes game number 2. 1 game away from taking the series. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, a really patient defense there by herO. Very patient play from our Korean Protoss. And despite the disastrous start, right? I should put a little bit more emphasis on that. herO was very aggressive in the early game. He threw away 3 oracles, his adepts as well. He didn't really trade too well at all, which is why he was in a lot of trouble. It's why time was on his side though, right? Where like as more time went on, he was able to warp in more and more units, trade as efficiently as possible. Cure was trying to punish herO, but he was very all in with that, and it took him a long time to really get on top of any of these bases, whether it was the natural or the 3rd. And herO was able to preserve his units for the most part, preserve his Phoenixes more importantly, and clean it up. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern. We have the South Korean Terran player, 1 game away from being eliminated in this tournament, from the tournament being over, as this is of course the grand finals. It is Cure. He needs your help, he needs your support to make this a series. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing DragonKy Z Gaming, the best Protoss in the world. It is herO. Yeah, that's right, Max Packs. Sign up for KSL. herO looking powerful so far in this series. A very aggressive series, to be fair. We haven't had a solid mid game. We haven't had 3-base saturation from either player yet. Game 1, herO was hyper aggressive. Game 2, it was Cure's turn. Game 3, now do things calm down? This is Ancient Cistern, a very large map in the map pool, one of the largest. We do have a lot of time to ourselves here or a lot of room to breathe, to expand, to take bases, get a 3rd up and running. I want a mid game, Bobby. Can we get 3 bases saturated for the Terran? Can it happen? Is it possible? As Cure is mixing things up. So for the first time this series, Cure is going for a Rax Expand. Very economic opener out of Cure. Oh my god, that SCV gets very low. And this makes a lot of sense. for Cure to go for something a little bit more economic on Ancient Cistern. We were talking about it. Because this map is so large, because it's so big, so wide open, it does typically lead to longer games. So Cure is feeling safe enough to go for a more economic opener instead. Shuts down that probe. Of course, herO is fully aware of what's going on. And we'll see if herO has a plan here to try to abuse this, as a probe is being sent out across the map. Okay. Here we go. We have a very fast robo here. So a robo opener from herO. Not something you see every day in this matchup. With this, we can get into a really fast robotics bay to rush into disruptors or Colossus. Mainly Colossus. Otherwise, we could throw down a proxy pylon as well, but the probe, it does move out across the map. The Adept has arrived. And yeah, herO, he's going to be able to take control of the low ground. Cure going for a 1-1-1 opener behind this, not a 3-Rax. Speaking of, we do have additional gateways on the way. It's going to be a 3-gate opener. This should be for a Warp Prism. herO looking to be very aggressive. He does barely take down that heli and takes down a Marine as well. Not bad trades with our first couple of units. And there it is. Warp Prism is on the way. So we're going to be seeing some 3-gate aggression here from herO. This isn't all in. Just very aggressive here in the early game. Of course, herO could just double down. Very possible for him to just double down and just focus on nothing but warp-ins and try to break the defenses here of Cure. Observer on the way behind this. Stalkers are moving out. And we'll see if herO can overwhelm Cure. Bunker is on the way, thankfully. Just now starts, though. Cure trying to get his Raven and Cyclone up and running. Here we go. herO has arrived, doing his best to focus out as many Marines as he can. Good juggling out of Cure. Oh my god, keeping those weakened Marines alive. But a couple of them are going down. Likewise, herO will lose a Stalker, but we have 3 more being warped in. You can see herO transitioning. He's throwing down 2 more gases. A Twilight Council is on the way. Again, herO juggling his heart out, but Cure is in position. Throws down the auto turret. Raven getting very low. Oh! Raven does get sniped. So far, pretty worth it for herO. As in, good trades taking down the Raven, but in the end, herO, he's delaying his third base. His tech is very delayed as well. It's going to take a while for him to work towards charge or blink. Oh. Oh my god, Mind Shot goes off. The Prism up. Oh my god, it barely survives. 2 HP. 1 shot away from going down. Adept Shade into the natural. They're getting some economic damage done. 7 SCVs go down. 8 SCVs even. herO finally getting some damage done. It wasn't by the Stalkers, it was by the Adepts. And this is looking like a 2-base all-in from herO. Yep, there we go. Is transitioning into a 2-base all-in. We have a Templar Archives on the way for charge. We have 5 gates on the way. That's 8 gates in total. So it looks like an 8-gate charge all-in. There is no third base for herO whatsoever. Cure needs to figure out what's going on. He dives into the main, drops these Marines, and he gets eyes on the gateway explosion. He now knows that there is no third base. He should know. Oh, he's getting a third on location. Oh, that's a little bit greedy. That's very risky. Marines are being cleaned up. And hey, you got 10 workers across the map. Not too bad. does defend that drop. So the one thing that Cure is missing is that Cure, he hasn't seen he hasn't checked the third base locations. So it looks like he isn't really piecing this together. I only say that just because we still have this third base on the way, and I feel like this is a lot of money being spent in a location that we're not going to use. There we go. We have a scan into the natural. We get eyes on the tech. Storm is on the way. And this mine drop is going to be heading towards that, at least the triangular third base location. Meanwhile, we have a storm drop. Oh, a little bit premature. Storm isn't done. It's done in 10 seconds. But he does force a reaction out of his opponent. Meanwhile, we have a mine drop into the natural base, and herO. Oh, a late reaction as well. Oh! He's going to lose 2 probes. Meanwhile, Storm is done. A third base is going to be denied. At least the base itself is done, and we can maybe use that for some SimCity at the natural. Here we go. herO's getting ready for his assault. Archons are on the way. Storm is done. We have 2 storms in the medevac. Sorry, in the prism. The boys are being pulled. And herO, he is taking a very late third base behind this. It looks like his goal here is to contain his opponent. Looks like herO isn't feeling too confident about breaking this position. He's going to try. No, the prism! Prism does go down. But the storms are still here, and massive storms on the bio army in the mineral line as well. Oh my god. Now there isn't enough on the ground though, and there it is. GG gets called. Cure will defend and fights back in this series. GG. I was concerned that Cure maybe was being a little bit too greedy with his third TC. I was very concerned that he was, of course, spending money on his economy and not on his army. But does hold in the end. And yeah, I was a little bit surprised that herO committed, right? Like herO, he was expanding behind it. I assumed that meant that herO knew that he couldn't break Cure, but he tried anyway. He tried his luck anyway. He pushes into the natural, loses his army, and that's it. GG. GG, well played. And Cure puts a point on the board. Oh, let's go. Let us go. And herO needs a moment. herO needs a moment to himself. And I don't blame him. Don't blame him at all. We're more than willing to give him a moment here to just gather his thoughts, to get some water, to have a break before we continue our series. Again, herO is still 1 game away from taking the entire tournament. Cure, though, is fighting back. Our next game is going to be taking place on Altitude. And once again, we're going to have a similar story here to Ancient Cistern, where Altitude is a very large map, so Cure can be more economic. He can go for a more economic opener and look to head into the mid game. I wonder how herO is going to approach this. I wonder if he's going to be as aggressive. Like, that's also the downside of these large maps, is that if you're deciding to be all in, it takes longer to get across the map. It takes longer to really be aggressive and assertive. It's not ideal. Maps like Ancient Cistern and Altitude, they're not ideal for these 2-base all-in. So it was a bold move coming out from herO, did not pay off in the end, and I'm hoping that he takes a different approach here on Altitude. I guess the other thing to bear in mind is that because Altitude is so large, it's actually not a bad map for proxies. So if herO wanted to go for a proxy Stargate, and herO, he does proxy Stargate pretty often in this matchup, this wouldn't be a bad map for that either. Of course, it's not all in, it's just a way to rush into oracles and cripple the economy of the Terran player early on. So we'll see. we'll see if proxies come into play. I guess it's applicable for both players, whether it's a proxy Stargate or a proxy Starport, for something like a Hellion drop. That's also, you know, not unheard of on Altitude either. And here we go. herO has returned. And we are getting into our next series. Our next game. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player representing himself. He is teamless, but he's one of the best Terrans in the world. Bringing it back in that last game, looking to force the ace match. It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing DragonKy Gaming, still one game away from becoming this week's KSL champion. It is herO. We go. So once again, Cure going for a more economic opener, just like on Ancient Cistern, which again makes sense on a map as large as Altitude. Really, my eyes are on herO to see what kind of opener he goes for, because he's been very aggressive so far this series, and it's very herO. You know, he is a very aggressive player by nature. Again, going for the Robo opener last game was wild. We'll see what he goes for this game, as he is going for a Zealot first. Okay. The aggression is upon us. Zealot is going to be racing across the map. It's got a long way to go. Is on the way here. I wonder if herO is going to commit to it or going to cancel after a moment. As he is rallying it across the map to try to get some damage done. As Cure is going for that Rax Expand. Now, this Zealot can try to disrupt the low ground and the base production here of Cure, but the scouting SCV is going to confirm that a Zealot is on the way. So now Cure has a heads up. And this Reaper should be looking to shut that Zealot down. There we go. Here he does pull back with that Zealot. Going to try to avoid the eyes of the Reaper, but he does get caught out, does get found out. Oh, trying to use this ramp here to his advantage, but yeah, so far so good here from Cure. He's going to shut this down. Once again, a Robo opener from herO. Oh my god. He really wants to make this work. Okay. So, just like last game, if we see 2 more gates thrown down, this should be for a Warp Prism, and we can be very aggressive with vanilla gateway units in the early game, and try to snowball out of control, just like the previous game. If we don't see an abundance of gateways, this could be for a rush into Colossus. It's really greedy, but I guess on Altitude you can try to get away with something like that. So, we'll see. We'll see what herO goes for. As the Robo is about to finish up, we do have one additional gateway on the way here on the low ground. And likewise, Cure, he is scouring the map right now, looking for any proxies. Oh, the Reaper does slip into the main. He does get eyes on the Robo. He's aware. He knows. And there is a Prism on the way. But this time it's only 2 gateways, so not as committed as the last game. There it is. herO, he is transitioning a lot faster out of this. Going for that Twilight Council. Interesting. Yo, this wouldn't be for DTs, would it? This is almost looking like a bit of a PvZ opener here. I'm really curious. Hellion dives in, gets eyes on the Twilight Council. Now he knows that there are less gateways that herO is going to be working with. So going to be not as committed with his initial push. Here we go. The Prism is heading towards the main base. There is a Widowmine in position, but not quite within range of that Prism. Oh, that's way too soon. Mine Shot is going to go off. Big connection on the Warp Prism. Oof, again, a big connection as well on the rest of these units, and herO is a little bit stuck. He is forced away. back at home. It is going to be a blink follow-up here. 2-gate blink from herO. God, but he's warping in some adepts. He's just sending everything across the map. Has at least kept the warp prism alive. Has kept it alive. And any regular Protoss player that goes for a 2-gate Blinkstalker opener, I would assume is going to go expand, but no, oh my god, we're just doubling down. 2 more gateways and a Templar Archives. herO just doesn't want a third. Oh my god. And he sneaks into the main, unscouted. herO not in position, the tank is very exposed. Up, tank is going to fall. A big pick off here for herO, and he's snowballing out of control. What else is there left? There's nothing. There's a handful of Marines, there's a Widowmine, SCVs have to be pulled, the friendly fire. Good juggling coming out from herO. As so many SCVs are going down. Initially it was a good start for Cure, but he's losing a bit too much. 14 SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. Across the map he's going for a drop, but we can recall back home. And this is still looking like a 2-base all-in from herO. He's going to be losing some workers. Oh my god. As once again, herO doubles down, throws down another 3 gateways. This is going to be 9 gates in total, by the way. Oh my god, the juggling. Oh my god. Cure. Calm down. He's doing so much with so little. There's 1 Marine. 1 herO Marine here in the mineral line. He gets another probe. Will eventually get cleaned up. Gets 2 probes. But again, herO is going all in with 9 gateways, blink, storm, even an immortal. Just a bit of everything. And Cure's in a really rough position. He already lost his first tank. He's getting into Widow Mines. We do have a 3rd base here for herO. There is a 3rd. As he's going for a storm drop. Storm is done. The storms! No! Not the best storms, to be fair. The first one zones the army away, and ooh, herO loses all of his High Templar and the Prism as well. herO's slipping up a little bit here. Not really worth it. But yeah, really interesting. So my theory here is that because Cure scouted the gateway explosion, I think he's, of course, getting ready here for an attack. Now we have the 3rd base on the way, but herO, he's just expanding behind it. He's not warping in. Even though he has all these gateways available, he's skipping his warp-ins and he's taking up. We have a Forge on the way. herO does intend to saturate this 3rd. He is thinking further ahead. We're getting into a longer game. Oh, let's go. We have a longer game ahead of us. Once again, another storm drop moving out across the map. Cure going to be taking control of the Zone Naga, but alas, will be missing the War Prism. There are Widow Mines, but they're at the ramp. They're not here covering the mineral line. And here we go. Once again, the storms come in. This time, much better storms, but only 3 SCVs go down. Quick reaction at a Cure. At the same time, he's going for his own counter drop into the main base. Probes are going down. And he does even focus on the robo as well, so not a bad drop whatsoever. 2 probes and a robo. And we're not stopping. We are not stopping. Robo has to be rebuilt. 2 robos at a time, actually. My god. Now, the Observer is in position, so herO, he does see this drop coming ahead of time, but he is not slowing down. He's moving out across the map. Scan misses the army. herO hasn't been able to rebuild the War Prism, and the drop is going to force a recall. Cure even just faking the drop out. So yeah, Kira, he's just given a lot of breathing room, a lot of time here to build up his army. He's already got a Ghost Academy. Ghosts are on the way. Third base is done, has been done for quite some time, and he should be landing it momentarily. As he goes for a Raven harass, 8 probes go down. Great amount of damage is being done here. The economies are pretty comparable now, especially with Kira landing this third. Pretty comparable economies. Here we go, herO moving out on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, we do have a pretty large force towards the left, but here we go. herO has spotted the main army. He's sending everything over to defend. Big feedbacks. Storms are going to be zoning the army away. We still have a lot of energy left over for EMPs. Oof. A massive storm on Akira's army. Yeah, one storm is sometimes all it takes. At the same time, he did try to drop into the main, but he gets cleaned up. And herO, as he cleans up this army, as he defends, he's also going for a big counterattack. He's not actually in position though for a Doom drop. herO, he finds a way in. And everything turns around. Big reaction here out of herO. A massive storm as well on that army. But Kira, he's able to snipe some of the High Templar. He gets the Cyber Core. Oof. But he loses 2 medevacs here in the retreat. And the problem is that herO's army is just getting more and more terrifying. Now he's got his robos up and running. Now he's got Colossus on the way. It's not going to get easier. We have Colossus, Shield Battery, Overcharge. herO does have energy for disables. I think he has 1 disable in the chamber. That is going to help. Oh, disables the War Prism. That is going to deny the storm. There is 1 High Templar in that prism. But it's about to run out. Shield Battery goes down. We do deny the warp, and we snipe the prism as well. And Kira, it looks like he may just barely have enough to break herO. The Colossus is putting in a lot of work. But the Colossus goes down. And Kira has barely done it. The probes are falling. Another Colossus comes out, but we have plenty of Marauders to deal with it. Yeah, and Kira, he can hunt it down. The Colossus barely survives, but I can't say the same about the 4th base. GG gets called as Kira gets out of control. And herO taps out. He's forced into the ace match. Oh, let's go. We have a game 5. We have a game number 5. Let's go. And now we've been dealing with all these large maps here with Ancient Incision, with Altitude, and Kira has been finding some more success. Now we're going back to a smaller map. Game 5 is going to be taking place on Babylon. On Babylon instead. Which I do think does favor herO a little bit more. Clearly, we've seen that he wants to be aggressive. Even that last game, herO, he's been delaying his 3rd base by so much. Every single game so far, he just refuses to expand. He's forced into taking a 3rd. Against his will, it feels, at times. But here we go. We're loading into Babylon, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. Teamless, but he brought his way back to the ace match from the brink of defeat. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. He has been up 2-0 this entire series from the beginning. But he's been really having a hard time closing it out. Been very aggressive as well ever since. Continuing to go for these robo openers, for these mass gateways. Delaying his third a lot. In both Game 3 and Game 4. Ay, ay, ay. And we'll see what herO has in store for us this time. Or as I should... Yeah. We'll see what he has in store for us this time. My eyes are on herO. A smaller map. I do feel like, you know, he thrives a little bit better on these smaller maps. Does fit his aggressive nature a little bit better as well. But we'll see. As herO is going for a gate expand. Bold move. Bold move here by herO. The rush distance can be quite short on Babylon, especially if these rocks get knocked down. That's, I guess, later on. And herO is going for an economic opener once again. Likewise, herO going for a gate into Cybercore, into his expansion. Nothing too crazy out of herO. Not yet. Not yet. But our eyes are on him. See what kind of opener he goes for, whether he goes for a Stargate, a Twilight Council, or a Robo. The tech is going to be quite telling here for herO. As back at home, herO does throw down a factory, so he's not going for a 3-racks, something that he hasn't done at all this series. Going for that factory follow-up, setting up for a 1-1-1. Meanwhile, herO finally doesn't go for a robo opener. Thank God. We have a Twilight Council instead, and this should be for Blink. For the time being, herO's in the dark. He hasn't seen this yet. He's looking for that tech structure. Checks the main base. Sees nothing there. Meanwhile, across the map, the Adept does make its way into the natural. Going to be denying some mining time here for a little bit longer. Until the Marines and Hellions rock up. herO trying to knock his way in, but alas, he is going to be denied. And he is now reclaiming control of his natural. Going into a what seems to be a mine drop. We have Widow Mines on the way. Of course, that Starport as well. herO still unawares as to what herO is working on, especially considering that herO has been going for all these robo-based openers. It is very important for herO to get a read on what's going on, as this is going to be 4-gate Blink Stalkers. Very aggressive out of herO. 4-gate Blink, once the robo is done, he's going to be working on a Warp Prism, he's going to be moving out across the map, and he's going to be looking to try to keep herO contained, and maybe even break him on 2 bases. As herO is setting up for his 3-1-1. Very standard setup here on 2 bases. Mine drop is coming out. I believe the Hellion and Reaper still have not gone into the natural. If they do, they will see the gateway count as well as the tech. But for now, herO hasn't seen much of anything. Complete. Not until the mine drop, of course. The mine drop should create an opening for herO. As Blink is done, the gateways are done, Prism is on the way, and herO is going to be moving out. As he moves out, ooh, does blink on forward, does shut down the mine. The medevac at least. Oof. A couple of good mine shots go off. Get some probes. But herO is now aware of what's going on, and he should be getting ready back at home with some bunkers. Marauders are on the way, which will help. He does have a bunker on the low ground, but his main is looking a little bit more exposed. The Marines, though, they are in position. The Raven as well. Secure is holding on. God, but there are so many Stalkers. We dive into the main base. Again, the bunker is too late. Cure not respecting this enough. The boys have to be pulled. Without tanks, without the bunker, this is becoming a bit much. A lot of SCVs are going down. Across the map, the Hellion and Reaper dive into the mineral line. They're going to do some counter damage, which is great. But I don't think it's going to be enough. They get 3 workers. The bunker on the low ground goes down. herO is pulling Cure apart. Again, he did just misread this, or just took him a little bit too long to scout and realize what was happening. Again, even though even though he saw the blink earlier, didn't see the gateway count, the Raven goes down, and herO is looking to claim victory here in this week's Korean Starcraft League. In this week's KSL, 29 SCVs have fallen, and Cure has nothing left. GG gets called. herO will be Korean Starcraft League week number 25's champion. GG. herO, he started off with a 2-0, but just barely couldn't close it out. Cure fighting back very hard, bringing it all the way to the ace match, and he did well for himself. Here in the ace match, though, Cure was in the dark. It took him a really long time to scout what kind of tech opener herO went for, to really confirm whether it was Blink or... I mean, he knew it wasn't Stargate, otherwise it would have been Phoenix's, or a Robo opener as well. So it took him a while, and even though he did harass across the map, he did see Blink. He didn't see the gateway count, so he didn't know how aggressive herO was going to be. He wasn't ready for that attack. Didn't have tanks, didn't have bunkers. Oh, and things snowballed very quickly out of control. Congratulations to herO for taking the series. GG. But a shout out to Cure. Shout out to Cure for making a series out of it and for bringing herO all the way to the ace match. Again, a very aggressive series as well out of herO. We didn't really get to see macro play at all. I guess we got kind of close on altitude, but even then, I do feel like herO, against his will, was forced to expand on altitude. Like, I don't think he wanted necessarily to get into his third and get into his fourth base. He delayed them by quite a lot on those maps, so... yeah, I mean, that's also why I love casting herO. He's a very aggressive player, very dynamic player, and does lead to some very high-paced games. Very high-paced games. GG. Well played. Well played. And with that, we are done with the KSL for today. We're done with our first broadcast, but we have another broadcast ahead of us. We have, in a couple of hours, day number 4? No. Day number 5. Day number 5 of the Masters Coliseum. Let me just quickly double check. 5 hours. It is in 5 hours, and I have to make a choice here. Oh, as we are just wrapping things up. 5 hours is a while. I may try to force myself to sleep. The Masters Coliseum's casts, they're long casts. They're long broadcasts. Like typically 5, maybe 6 hours. And it usually goes deep into the night. I'm talking like 2, 3 a.m. Around 2 a.m. Around 2 a.m. So it's gonna be a long one, and I do need to preserve myself a little bit. just a little. I also haven't had breakfast, so I'm gonna need to get some food. I maybe may try to have a nap in preparation for Masters Coliseum. So if you're in the chat and if you're gonna be there, I'll see you there. It's a great tournament. Masters Coliseum, it's an amazing tournament. A lot of money on the line. The best of the best are gonna be there. Let me just double check for you. Tonight, who's going to be playing in Masters Coliseum? We're still in the group stage. And every match is casted, every match. Oh my. Okay. So tonight, it's going to be Solar, herO Marine, Spirit, Ragnarok, Nightmare, and Bjorn as well. So a lot of high-profile Zergs and Terrans. There's only one Protoss tonight, and that's going to be Nightmare. So I wish Nightmare the best of luck, and at least he doesn't have to focus on PvP. I say that PvP is one of his best matchups, arguably his best matchup. So unfortunately, he won't be able to rely on that. Has to rely on his other matchups instead. And yeah, it feels really exciting. There are a lot of foreigners, which is always a lot of fun. Like it's kind of like Solar, Ragnarok, and Bjorn up against and Nightmare, of course. And we have herO Marine and Spirit from the foreign scene. What is it about herO Marine and Spirit? They keep facing each other. I don't know if you've noticed in the past couple of premier events. I think it was in I think Gamers 8, DreamHack Young Shipping, ESL Master Summer. I think the regionals of ESL Master Summer as well. Here, Marine and Spirit, they keep facing each other. They keep hitting each other time and time again in those TVTs. So it's gonna occur again here in Masters Coliseum. They just can't avoid it. They can't avoid the TVTs. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. Later on tonight in 5 hours, 5 hours time. So yeah, we are gonna be getting ready for that. Short sleep or coffee? I don't think it's wise to have too much coffee, but we'll see. We shall see. Let me just double check something as well. So because there are only 5 hours in between broadcasts, we do have a couple of replays that have been redeemed. I believe Frost redeemed a replay last night, and Silo redeemed a replay today as well. So we have 2 replays to cast. I want to save them. I want to save them for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be live with the Tenacious Turtle Tussle much earlier, far earlier. And I'm a lot more comfortable casting a little bit extra tomorrow because I got a long time to sleep. Straight after Masters Coliseum. Sorry, straight after Tenacious Turtle Tussle. We'll do a replay cast, and then I'm going to bed for like a good 8 hours, getting ready for the next day of Masters Coliseum. So yeah, we do have some replays available to cover from the community, and we will cast them, but I'm gonna hold off on them tomorrow for after the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. Hopefully that event occurs. We have had a hard time having signups, and we have had to postpone Tenacious Turtle Tussle for quite a lot. It's our regional bi-weekly tournament for the Americas region, for like North America and Latin America mainly. But we've had a hard time really gaining traction on it, so it's been a shame. It's been a bit of a shame, and as a result, we may end up hosting it a couple more times, and we may rethink how we want to approach it. We may just put it on hiatus, especially like if there's no interest from the scene, then why run it, right? Why run it? Who we running it for if it isn't the players? And if the players aren't too interested, then we may just put it on hold. But yeah, that's what we have in store for us tomorrow. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you want to support the KSL, !KSL in the chat to get a link to the Patreon. The Patreon is a great way to support this tournament and to gain replay packs. If you want to learn how to play like Cure, like herO, like Dark, then we got you covered with plenty of replay packs available in the KSL. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Invites the European. Well, that's kind of against the purpose of the tournament. Like, the tournament is specifically region locked to support the smaller regions, right? To support the regions that need it more so than Europe and Korea. Like Korea, they've got KSL. It's like our version of KSL, but for America, for Latin America as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, if you want to support KSL, Patreon is in the chat. If you want to support our tournaments, then !Patreon as well. We have our own kind of version of KSL. We have Grand Platypus Open, which is a region locked tournament for Southeast Asia, and we have a couple of other tournaments kind of focused on North America, Latin America, and we even have an open tournament for everyone. That's a Sparkling Tuna Cup, which is open to the Europeans and the Koreans. So we have a little bit for everyone. Some of our tournaments are more successful than others, I will say that. So we may have to rethink things, but yeah, you can support us on Patreon if you're interested. All the money that we make goes towards the tournaments that we host and the tournaments that we run. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you guys in 5 hours. In 5 hours for day 5 of the Masters Coliseum. I'm going to be casting that with Asher. So look forward to it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. You can follow us on all the social medias. You know, we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all that good stuff. So you can follow us for our VODs as well if you want to tune into that. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in 5 hours for some more StarCraft. See you soon. Bye. Hasta luego.